if I didn't incorporate CGI, who knows, like half of those kids wouldn't have liked math or been interested in math. My name is Dayeashia Viel. I know when I started at the beginning of the school year, a lot of my kids didn't like math. Like they didn't like math at all, actually. It was just like, and our math was early in the morning. So it's kind of like, I had to always get their attention to even go into math. So by the end of the school year, I remember we were doing graphs, like bar graphs and stuff. And it was like a vote, who likes reading, who likes science, who likes math, who likes, and almost the whole class said they like math by the end of the school year. And I felt like I did my job. I felt like I incorporated CGI the way that it was supposed to be incorporated versus me just like, going in and freestyling it or, going directly by the curriculum in the teacher edition. I was looking and I seen CGI, I seen like a short description of it, it's like how children think in math. And I was just like, I like math. I feel like I could be a better math teacher. Maybe this is something I want to look into. So once I signed up for it and I got an email back, I think it was 3 tests. And I was like, uh-oh, 3 tests. I don't know if I want to do that. But I was like, let me just go ahead and see. And most of it was like math problems. And it was kind of asking me how I think about math. And it had me like really reflective, like, ooh, how would I solve this? Like, I never thought about it that way. I only thought about teaching math. Like, I got to go with what the teacher edition tells me. So once I sat and I was doing the problems and everything, it was just like, this is something I really want to get into now. And then we got to the summer and I was working with Susan Gain. Okay, I hope I said it right. I know her first name was Susan, but she was just awesome. Like the way she broke down how kids think of math was just like, I would have never guessed that because they don't teach us this in the university. They kind of just say, get in the classroom, work on classroom management, work on your classroom environment. But they don't really say, okay, this is how a child thinks in math. Like inventive algorithm. I knew nothing about that. So sitting down and actually thinking about it, it was like, okay, that's cool. But when I got back the next year, it was like seeing the kids doing inventive algorithm. I'm like, oh, I know what that is. It was like a light bulb moment. The Solve and Share is the place where they get complete freedom to solve the problem however they want. And that's the biggest component where I see CGI because I get to pick the students and have them come up and explain to the other students how they solve the Solve and Share. And they kind of bounce off of each other versus me saying, okay, here's the problem, this is how you do it, like that. So once we finally got into math, mind you, I teach second grade, so we got right into addition up to 100. So seeing them, most of the kids was kind of like struggling and holding back on what they knew. But once I told them, just have fun with it, like do it your way. How do you want to do it? They really started learning off of each other. And like seeing my ESOL students, it was more of a base 10. We need stuff in our hands and having those manipulatives for them. It was just like, I don't know, it was so awesome to see, but also seeing like my tier 1 students doing inventive algorithm, going up to the board and saying, this is how I do it. And then the ESOL students like, oh, that makes sense. It was like, I don't know, it was just awesome to see. And it felt like I was kind of in the back seat of teaching math. I don't know if that makes sense, but it was like I was standing in the background watching them teach each other math. And it's like they were teaching each other things that they was learning, they were teaching each other what they were learning, but they weren't learning it from me. They were learning it by doing it on their own. So we was counting up to 1,000. And so I was trying to figure out if the students could use the base 10 blocks on the board to show me a number. Like I'll just say a random number, 475. So I called, well, actually she raised her hand to come up to the board to show a number. Say 475. So I told her, go up to the board, and the fact that she was able to get the base 10 blocks, put them in order, like the correct order. She grabbed the marker. I didn't say anything. I was just kind of standing there. She grabbed the marker. She labeled it hundreds, tens, ones. And then she went back over and counted it. And when she turned to the class, she told the class everything she did without me even saying, explain to the class what you did. It just blew my mind because I'm like, she's an ESOL student. She barely knew the language of English, but she was able to turn to her classmates and like express, this is what I did, this is how I got there. I couldn't do nothing but clap. And our new teacher mentor, well, my new teacher mentor, she was in the class with me and she was just snapping and she wrote it in an email. She was like, it was just so beautiful to see. And I'm like, yeah, it was really beautiful because I didn't expect it. So it just shocked me and it made me so proud. I do have an interesting story. So I had a kid, he was just a very shy kid, but he was always hyper. Like he needed to get things going. So we were doing the solve and share, and I guess this day he decided like, I want to get up and, start playing around with my base 10 blocks or whatnot. So I called him up to the board and it's so weird. He made like this rap to show how he did his work. And after that, like the whole class would talk about it for the whole day. And it was like, I was standing in the back like, kids just come up with the darnest things. But it was so interesting to see how he tied rap into him being hyper and how he tied math into him being hyper and wanting to tie it into rap. It was just amazing. I've had some different type of topics, like time and money, for example. That was the hardest thing to do or to incorporate CGI with, because it was like, that's explicit. You have to tell them what the hour hand is, what the minute hand is. You can't really tell them, go out and freestyle. Look at the clock and tell me what time it is. They're not going to know. You have to do direct instructions on it. But once you do direct instructions and they kind of get it, then you could throw in CGI and you could let them know, okay, you know what the hour hand is, you know what the minute hand is. Tell me how you're going to recognize this time. If I give you a clock and I put a random time on it, how are you going to tell me what time it is? Just like money. If I put coins right in front of you, how are you going to find out the total number of coins? You can start at the quarter, but the person next to you could start at the penny. The person next to you could start at the dime, but you all have the same amount. So once you directly teach them, if that's your style of teaching, then after that, you can definitely go with the CGI way. Go ahead and freestyle. Now that I taught you, you already got the seeds. You just got to make the flower grow. I'm excited. Like, I can't wait to incorporate CGI from years to come. Like, I want to see if it's going to work every time I do it, And I still want to learn more stuff. I still want to go to more trainings and see how other people incorporate CGI, because they might be doing something that one little switch I can include in my lesson and they could take my lesson to the next level.